I'm gonna be so late. Honestly. Have you seen the time? And no one's even here. Hello? Wait, hold on. Hello?
Oh my days.
Hello?
I had to tell her to come a different time. She's here early. Wait, hold on. Let me just do her thing quickly and then I'll call you back. Hi, I'm so sorry. How long have you been waiting for?
Ages.
How long's ages?
A long time.
Do you want to cancel or do you want to go through with the appointment?
Well, I can't go out like this, so obviously I want to go through with the appointment.
All right, girl, come up. Let's go.
I'm sorry guys, but Oloni has to wait a bit longer. Some of you may or may not know that I've been on my fitness journey, and that has been with the help of HelloFresh for getting my diet in check. So I thought, why not show you guys what I've been eating so you can get in check too. Normally when I order my HelloFresh, I get like generic like chicken and stuff, but I bought veggie burger just to put some excitement in my meals. So we've got the veggie burger here, and they also give you the recipes and how to make it for when you're cooking, and they're actually kind of quick to cook as well, so it doesn't take that long. It's easy. But yeah, let's unpack all of this. I know eating healthy can be very expensive, guys. Trust me, I know. So use my code below for 60% off your order. Layoschoice. Thanks, how they do nothing for you guys. I got my burger, I got my iPad. I've just... Hello, Oloni, I'm literally coming. I just had to make a quick meal. Like, I'm coming. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video, but I've actually got to go now.
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of The Appointment Show. Today we have the beautiful, strong, outspoken Oloni. You guys know her for her book. You know her for what she said on Twitter. You know her. If you know Oloni, you know what she does. So, hey girl, welcome to The Appointment Show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Girl, I actually appreciate you because now I know where you're going. I know that you done your big one.
I did.
You did your big one. How are you feeling today?
Excited.
What do you feel like we're going to get into?
Well, I've watched your shows already, so I'm just like, I really, really love it. Like, I love the theme, so I'm just excited for whatever you've got coming.
Okay, so to break the ice,
yeah.
Obviously this is not our first time meeting actually.
No,
I always feel like we've met, we've partied small.
Yes.
So this is not our first time meeting, but actually speaking.
Yeah.
So let's just break the ice a bit. So we're gonna do quick fire questions.
Cool.
This one is strong, so as I'm giving you, you might be taken aback, but it's good. Okay, cool.
Let's go.
What are some tips that you have in the bedroom?
Some tips I have in the bedroom. I would say communication. Communication is important.
Whilst it's going on.
Whilst it's going on, I feel like it's so important for women to speak up. I feel like in life, in general, women are taught to be shy, not be as outspoken, and we carry that same attitude in the bedroom, which is why men dominate it, which is why men dominate porn, which is why, you know, people think that sex is for men.
Yeah.
But if you're communicating and you're confident and you're guiding and you're sharing and you're telling, the sex will be better. There's no better tip than just communication in the bedroom.
Do you find that guys actually appreciate that more?
Whether they appreciate it or not, kilo me.
Well, if he's like, nah, stop talking, this is too much talking.
Then we're not compatible, and that's okay. Because you will find someone else who is on that same frame as you, but it won't be me because I love to communicate, I love to talk, I love to giggle, I love to play, and that's what sex is. Sex is not supposed to be serious. Sex is supposed to be two or more, whatever you're into. Or maybe just on your own. It's supposed to be about enjoying yourself, giggling, fantasizing, playing, exploring, and just being in the moment with each other, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way
you're doing as well.
No, because
are you thinking?
No.
Do I take you back somewhere?
I'm not,
What, you don't have sex?
I'm not a talker.
You're not?
Nah.
You don't? Why?
Just
These men are not making you talk. Ooh.
I don't like hearing my voice. Like, even like when I record and stuff, I think hearing my voice back is like, almost shut up. Like, like I'm not a talker. So when you're saying it, it sounds interesting how you see it, but I'm personally not.
And that's completely fine. Don't get it twisted as well. If you know what you are in the bedroom and you're comfortable with that, that's completely fine. Because I think, like, when I think back, what I was comfortable with in the bedroom, like maybe 10 years ago, is completely different to now. I think that sex is all about is a journey. I think sexuality in itself is a journey. So what you enjoyed in the bedroom or what you were like in the bedroom at 19 is not going to be, it could be different to what you're like in your 30s. Do you know what I mean? You're always changing, you're evolving. And even outside of sex, just who you are as a person at 19 is going to be different to who you are in your 30s. So, you know, you explore, you find, you wonder, and you decide.
I feel like, okay, cool, we'll touch on it. I'm going to go.
Yeah, these are fire questions.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but let me...
fire. I know. It's me. It's not your fault. It's me because I'm going on.
I'm taboo about sex. I don't really speak about sex. So obviously, for me, when I'm writing this down, I'm thinking,
but I love the
this is much. Like, how do you get what I'm saying? So it's taboo to me, but not to you.
Yeah.
Next question is, what do you think boys do to girls that they think feels good but doesn't actually feel good?
Oh my God, PIV, which is penetration in vagina. So I think a lot of sex, and don't get twisted, obviously penetration in vagina is amazing, but I feel like in some cases it can be overrated to the point that we're skipping all the fun and goodness of sex, which is the foreplay, which is the kissing, the talking, maybe the talking not for everyone, of course, not too much talking, but it could be the fun, it could be the toys. Not being open to that side is where I think some guys lack, and they just focus mainly on penis and vagina. And it's just like, there's so much more to sex, and you know, and sex is not over just because you arrive. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's still more. So I feel like that's what some cis hetero men do in the bedroom that could be a bit off-putting. It's just like, let's explore other things. Let's try mutual masturbation. Let's try toys. Let's try, you know, maybe recording ourselves, like you mentioned, like recording the audio. What, record myself? What, visually?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Audio?
Audio, I would.
Why though?
Because, sex, when it comes to sex, the biggest sexual organ is your brain.
Okay.
So
I'm learning. Boy.
It's fine. Biggest sexual organ is your brain. So if you think about it, when you're forcing one of your senses, which is just listening, instead of visually watching porn, I feel like watching porn is too easy. Like, you're obviously gonna get off. But when you're listening to it, you're forcing that one sense to really try harder to put you in a space whereby you remember what it was like when he was whispering in your ears, or when he was caressing your thighs, or when he was begging for just a tip. You know, just little things. And it feels good. It turns you on. So you're just like, oh my God, I'm really, really forcing myself to just really try. And it's just fun to listen to. Don't you just like to reminisce? Like, apart from all the, you know, the erotic stuff and the desire and all of that. Yeah. It's just fun to just listen back to yourself.
Off topic, like...
yeah, go on.
When I think about sex, and I don't think this deep into it, like, this is not even a fire question. Forget the fire question for now. Where do you get all this knowledge from? Like, do you study it? Like, how?
Oh, absolutely. I study it. I'm around amazing women who talk about sex for a living as well. And it's just something I've been doing for a very long time. I'm not new to it. So I've been talking about sex properly since I was probably around like 21. Really? I started off talking about dating and relationships when I was 18. But naturally, when you talk about dating and relationships, whether you like it or not, we have to talk about sex.
Yeah.
And I realized that just as a young Black woman, no one was doing it. Like, when I was growing up, women were talking about fashion and music, doing outfit of the days, and we still do that. Yeah, do you know how OG that is? Like, that's proper old school. So, and I loved it. I took in the content, you know, and I followed those creators because I wanted to dress like them and I wanted to learn how to do my hair or do my makeup like them. But at the same time, I was just like, why are we not talking about sex when we're all doing it? And I realized it was due to culture, how we grew up, the shame that came with it as well.
Yeah.
And I said that this is such a silly taboo because we are all a product of sex.
Yeah.
So why can't we talk about it?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I didn't see it like how, but anyways,
we'll get into it.
Okay, so what do you think about feedback after sex? Like, do you feel like a lot of people do it, enough people do it? It's a bit like, I really want to talk about it, it's awkward. Like, what do you think about feedback after sex?
Well, from the women that I talk to on social media, I think it's a bit split. Some women do it, some people don't. You know, I'm a person, I love feedback after sex, especially if you're like a new sexual partner. I want to know, like, if I'm doing my job. I want to know if I'm pleasing you. I want to know, because what you know, Tony likes is not what Tunde is going to like. So you need to make sure that you are pleasing Tunde and asking him questions. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everyone's body is different, you know, and it's the same with women as well. A guy thinks that just because he made one woman come, another woman is also going to come the exact same way.
Yeah.
So you have to give feedback. You have to talk about these things. And it doesn't need to be serious. It could be fun and silly. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know some people are a bit awkward about sex, but it doesn't need to be serious. It doesn't need to be awkward. It's fun. Like when you're having sex, you're not enjoying yourself. So why can't the after sex, like, or aftercare that we call it in the sex community, we say aftercare. So aftercare could also be you talking about, you know, giving each other feedback. And it could be like, do you know what? Yeah, we tried anal, but I don't think I want to do it again. It's really not my thing. That's feedback. It's feedback.
It's awkward feedback though.
It's awkward feedback.
But I feel like when you're comfortable, like how you're comfortable, it's easier.
It's easy. I think it's easy. And that's where the power lies. You need to be confident in yourself, because if you're not, the sex will be awkward, regardless if it's feedback, regardless if it's, you know, just intimacy where it's PIV sex or even foreplay. You've got to be confident or just have a bit of confidence. I'm not saying you need to go in there like a porn star. I am not saying that. I'm just saying I just want you to feel empowered and know that what you're doing is for your pleasure as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Diving into first, you've hit a lot of stuff that's why I didn't want to feedback too much, because you hit a lot of stuff I wanted to ask you. What got you into speaking so freely and like about sex? Because obviously you said it already, like you're an African girl, Black woman, like in this generation as well. I think it's easier now than how it was back in the day before. Like, what got you into speaking about it and just saying like, I feel comfortable enough to do this online?
I feel like from a young age, I've always been very inquisitive when it comes to sex. Even with my friends growing up, we would have conversations about sex that would be about masturbation, for example. I remember being 15 and my friend asked, I was masturbating, but I wasn't sexual. Like I wasn't having sex with, I wasn't active. So I remember she asked me once, she was just like, do you masturbate? And I was just like, no. And then when I got just a bit, maybe a year later, I said, yeah, I do. And we were laughing about it for ages. And I just knew that I'd always been interested, or I always had these desires, but I was the only one who was willing to be honest and open about it, like when I was ready. But my friends were still denying it. And I said, we all have vaginas here. Like, surely it can't just be my vagina that just be tingling.
Just tingling, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not just like, girl,
I'm just like, can we be honest?
Yeah.
I want to have the conversations. Like, why won't my friends be honest? Because I'm picking up Cosmo, mind you, and I'm seeing 600 ways to please him or please her. So it's like, why is it white women are talking about this? Yeah, and why is it taboo? But why can't we talk about it? And maybe because we were young. So what are we really talking about? Because it's not like we were having sex. Or maybe some people were. I'm not going to pretend some people weren't having sex in my school at 15. They were. But I realized I also loved talking about dating and relationships. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, when I was younger, I was definitely like, Moesha, just boy crazy. Like, my man. So I was always boy crazy. Do you know what I mean? So even like when I lost my virginity, I remember, I don't even like to say lose my virginity. When I had sex for the first time.
Why don't you like to say lost my virginity?
Because what did I really lose? What did you take? What did you take? And I understand it's just the term we use, because we would, like, if I want to be easy and say, so we all understand what I'm saying, yes, I lost my virginity, but I feel like language is important, language is developing, language is changing, and I didn't lose anything. So, you know, I had sex with you. That was it. Yeah.
Wow, I like how you speak. Like,
oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously you said that you started speaking about it from when you was young. Did you speak to your parents about it?
Oh, absolutely not. Listen, just because I'm talking about sex on the internet don't mean I didn't grow up in the same household.
Because I'm thinking, the way maybe she's going home and telling her mum that she's doing this, having this.
No, not at all. But remember, like, when I started talking about sex properly, I was in my 20s. So, I mean, my mum's hardly going to come inside my room with Omarogun to beat me and chase me. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I grew up in a house whereby I was kind of lucky in the sense that my mum always wanted me to do what made me happy. And I studied journalism at university, media in college. So I knew I always wanted to write. I knew I wanted to create because it was what I studied, but I just didn't know how I was going to do it. When I was younger, my dream was to be a writer for Cosmopolitan because I knew I wanted to talk about sex. Yeah, and I do write. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I started. I started off blogging. I was blogging about relationships and talking about dating and sex when no one wasn't. And it's so interesting now because I see that a lot more women are confident when it comes to talking about sex. And I'm not even talking about American women because I feel like American women...
They've always been...
and that's fine. And that's great. I love it. I love it. But like in our culture, this Black British London culture, it's not.
Anything you say.
It's literally, you know what I mean? I mean, so... But now I find that a lot more women are much more comfortable talking about sex and relationships. And I love it. When I see, I'm just like, yes, talk your shit.
Because... But that's why I'm saying it'll be easier for what you're doing to have been done now.
Yeah.
Was you not scared of how social media will cater to you, take to you from when you started speaking about it when you was younger, like in a time where it was more taboo?
Not really. I think I've always grown up being a rebel. I never liked to listen. My dad always told me that I behaved like a boy when I was younger.
When you was younger?
Yeah, he said, and that's why my mum says I have small ears because I don't listen. So I've never ever really like listened to anyone. I've always like marched to the beat of my own drum. So I feel like being a rebel, you know what they say, like good women don't make history. So I wouldn't say I've been a bad woman, but I would always say that I've always done what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Did your friends was like, because I feel like for me, if I have to be honest, like my friends always support me.
Yeah.
If I wanted to start speaking about sex online, I'll be like, like, are you sure? Like, let's think about it. Like, we support you, but are you sure you want to do this? Like, were your friends given like, Oloni, are you sure you want to do this? Or was like, go for it?
No, like, I would say that I was actually, again, I was lucky in the sense that when I got a bit older and I went to uni, I actually had, like, my friends were quite sexually liberated.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm not going to say that they were open about it. They were sexually liberated in their home and amongst, you know, each other. Like, we were all sexually liberated, but were they blogging or... I don't think they were, but they've always been very supportive. You know, they'd be at the shows that I've done. You know, even like my book that that got released 2 years ago, they were there, and the same people that were there when I was 18 or 19, or even when I was in my mid-20s and I was doing shows about sex and relationships, they were there. So I've always had their support. And I think it's always important to make sure that you have a community of people who are similar to you. Not your only community, but at least have one community whereby you have, you know, a bit of like-mindedness.
Yeah.
So.
And you said you had support from your friends. Did you have support from your family? Because I can't imagine me going home and saying, Mum, I know what I want to do. I want to start speaking about sex. I want to empower women. I want to do this. I want to do that. And the thing is, my mum, she is very like, she's
liberal
in everything I do.
Okay, yeah.
But I feel like for her, it's more so, I don't mind what you're going to do, but what the auntie's going to say,
Yeah.
what the uncle's going to say, they're going to be sending it to me on WhatsApp, they're going to be doing this, doing that. Like, how did your family take to
I think
what you wanted to do?
In the early stages, my mum always saw me as someone who was like talking about sex and, I mean, not talking about sex, but like talking about dating and relationships. She always encouraged, because I'm not going to pretend that she always encouraged the dating and relationship aspect. So even again, when I was like around like 25, I would even put on like dating nights for women and the guys as well, where they would mingle. Yeah, I've had people get married from like date nights that I've put on back in the day. Yeah, so that I would put them back on again. But then, you know, I'm not going to pretend that she was like proper championing. Like, my mum's just like, she's a typical Nigerian mum. But at the same time, I'm in my 20s. She's not exactly going to tell me you can't do this.
When you're living in her house?
No, really? I don't think so. No.
Are you guys close?
We are close, actually. We are very close. I think we're even closer now because I don't live at home.
Was your dad the same with you?
My dad's always been, do you know what? He's always been cool with what I do. Yeah, I think my dad's actually quite liberated, to be honest. Like, do you know what I mean? Do I want to sit down and talk to my dad about sex? Absolutely not. But he'll be like, you know, he'll be like, damn it, I listen to your dad, I don't want to hear any more.
He listens to it.
There was one show that he listened to. It wasn't like too deep about sex. It was like when I was 23. So again, remember, like, me talking about sex was a gradual thing. It wasn't something I dived straight into. Started with relationships, started with dating, and then it might be something soft like, I don't know, what you should get your partner for Valentine's Day. And then I might say something like, things, I might say something like lingerie, and he'd be like, damn, you're telling them to get lingerie. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, oh, all you women are the same. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't, has he listened to Laid Bear? I don't think so. And I hope not. But, you know, I'm just talking about like the early days, but he knows I talk about sex. But
did your mum ever have aunties and uncles send stuff to her like, look at what your daughter is saying type of thing?
You know, they tried to be, there was one instance where I think one auntie was trying to be shady and my mum was just like, yeah, she got a book and she had it, and she got a BBC 3 TV show. My mum be carrying my book on her head, so yeah.
That's nice,
yeah.
though,
No, of course. No, my mum, she came to my book release party in Soho, and she was on stage dancing with me to Oxlade Closer. I was like,
no. The thing is, you
get up here.
You got it lucky because a lot of parents would.
Do you know what it is? I'll be real with you. If I keep it a buck with you, if I can keep it a buck with you, it's the money.
Do you know what it is? I feel like with African people,
of course.
Once
they see the money coming in, they're cool.
African artists, they'll be smoking next to their mum.
Yeah.
Come on, if you was working in, do you know what I'm saying? They're gonna take that thing and slap you. But I feel like when you are making money, I actually like that you touched on that. When you are making money, even if you're doing something that's taboo in the culture.
Because I didn't want to be like, I mean, at first, was she cool with it? She's still like, I'm not going to pretend she didn't come into my room and say, you know, like, oh, why don't you just try getting this type of 9 to 5 or like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she don't want me to be a bum, but I'm just like, I'm in my like maybe early 20s, just come out of uni. I'm just like, no, I'm going to chase my dreams. And she's like, that's great, you want to chase your dreams, but you need a job to be able to chase your dreams. But she wasn't wrong, and I did it, and I hated it, and it made me even hungrier. I remember, like, when I had my 9 to 5, nothing makes you hungrier than a 9 to 5.
What was you doing?
I swear to you, I was a writer. I was a science writer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you wasn't. No, you were just when you were writing, just thinking.
When I was writing, I would be in the toilets. I would go to the toilet so I could speak to agents that I wanted to that I wanted to pitch myself to, so they would take me on. And they would tell me no, they never saw the vision, they didn't see the dream. And it was fine because that's not where I was supposed to be. But now I'm with an amazing agency, WME, who took me under their wing. And, you know, everything panned out the way it was supposed to. But, you know, when I did have my 9 to 5, it was what I would use to fund my podcast, or if I wanted to do my like YouTube shows at the time.
Yeah.
Nothing makes you hungrier than being somewhere 9 to 5, or just being somewhere you just don't want to be, you know. And don't get it twisted, like I think that you should definitely always have that foundation and that steady income coming in, especially if you're not where you want to be at yet. There's nothing wrong with it. But I knew I didn't like what I was doing. I said my dreams were scary, like they would keep me up at night, kind of frightening, because I knew that I was destined for more. And I said, Dammy, you could do so much. Like, no one else is doing what you're doing. And if they're doing it, they're not doing it how you're doing it. Yeah. And what you're doing is going to change lives. And I see it when I go out. There's always someone who will run up to me and say, oh my God, I love what you're doing. I'm there with my anxiety, like, bitch, what are you saying? But, you know, I know they're busy telling me, like, I really love what you do. And I love to hear it as well, because I think it's sweet. And they will tell me, like, how what I've done is, like, really changed their sex life, or how it's benefited them, or whether it's them leaving their partner, or them being able to communicate and, you know, just allow their voice to be heard outside of the bedroom, not necessarily in the bedroom. Because I know people just think all I talk about is sex. And yes, I do love me some sex, but again, my foundation is relationships and dating. Yeah. So I will get women who will come up to me and say, you know, you helped me leave like such a terrible relationship. You gave me advice once and it was, you know, I'm not with him any longer, met someone else who was better. And it feels good to hear. Yeah, exactly.
Like you are doing something that's amazing, because a lot of girls, especially back in the day when you started, could not even
utter the word sex. What? I used to beg people to come on Laid Bare back in the day.
And it was over.
And it was just like, yeah, it'd be hard sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And I understood it. I would respect it, because at the end of the day, my thing is, I grew up no different to how you lot grew up. Do you get what I'm saying? So I get it. I would never ever pressure anyone. Mm-hmm. But even men, like a lot of men, even in the black community, don't want to talk about sex. But you ask them when their last STI results were.
Want to talk about sex?
Not really. Some don't. They'll start telling me what questions I can and can't ask. I'm like, my guy, please, Bashi, just go. Like, yeah, just go, because I want to, you know, we don't necessarily need to talk about your sex life, but it's a sex show. Like.
Yeah. But do you feel like, obviously you started speaking about sex with your friends when you was young. It sounded like it was easier when you was getting older to speak about it with your parents.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what you do on social media and online encourages like younger girls to be more free having sex? Because we have this strong black woman speaking about sex, how fun it can be. And we could have like a girl that's like 14, 15 saying, okay, she's saying this like this, she's saying this like this, she's speaking about it in this way.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad how everyone's saying it.
Yeah.
I might not be seen as a hoe, like, even though I'm young, she's speaking about it in such a good light. Do you feel like what you do encourages younger girls to have sex early?
I don't think I encourage people to have sex early at all. I feel like I encourage people to have sex when they are ready and how they are ready. So I feel like sex is everywhere, whether we like it or not. I mean, I think the spreading of like, or how people share sexual content today is even worse than when I was growing up, because I never had Snapchat. Most we had was BlackBerry and a black screen when you were emotional.
BlackBerry was a lot though.
It was a lot, but there was no porn on it.
But people was posting some mad stuff on, even when I was young.
I did not see no mad stuff. Literally, I didn't. Maybe it was like maybe some stuff here and there. Maybe the most I can remember was like maybe people being slut shamed on Facebook pages.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we never had porn. Like, I could open up my DMs right now on Twitter and just set it up to like allow everyone to open me. There's going to be a dick pic in my DMs.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying this now. This has been done from a long time ago. They've been sending this type of picture a long time.
Really?
Sorry? Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. But I find that now, but to go back to your question even, like, am I encouraging? No, I don't feel like I'm encouraging because one, my content isn't even for kids. Like it's really for women who are 18 and up, which is when I started talking about sex. So my content isn't even for them to digest. And the type of content that I do provide for young kids, because I do go into schools to talk about consent. Like I've gone into secondary schools to talk about like, you know, consent, because I think when people hear the word consent, they immediately think of sex. But I've always said that, you know, consent is a lot deeper than that. It's teaching kids to have autonomy over their body and remembering that if they don't want to hug that creepy uncle,
they don't need to hug
that creepy uncle, but to also treat others the way you want to be treated. You know, if someone says that they don't want you hugging them in school, because you remember, we knew what it was like when we were in secondary school growing up.
How was that for you?
It was listen, let me tell you this. I remember there was this really strange kid, right, in my year. He was the worst. I just remember he put his finger up my skirt, like
when you was younger.
Yes, the most horrid. He was like a pervert in school.
Did you tell anyone?
It happened on the playground, but back then they never took stuff like that seriously. Guys used to like play on the bra straps of girls and stuff like that. And I'm not even trying to say that was just
or like
boys.
run and slap their bum.
Or
squeeze their
boobs.
Oh, yeah.
Girls did it to guys as well. Maybe they might be hugging a guy longer than he wants to be hugged, or they're gripping his ass, or they're touching him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the boy that I'm talking about that put his finger up my skirt, I remember a couple years ago, it was said that he had date raped a girl. And I said, of course you did. I'm not shocked. And I believe that shit because I remember what you did to me in school.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to avoid, because before you get to that date rape stage, there's a lot of stages before that, you know, that allows you to get there. So, you know, it's why a lot of shit happens in universities, why women have to question themselves and wonder, wait, was that normal? Did I consent to that? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's all about just teaching kids beforehand. So that's the type of content that I do teach to kids. I don't teach kids. I think when people hear that I talk about sex, they immediately think of pleasure or desire, but there's education around it as well. And I love to talk about the education. I know the fun stuff that goes viral is usually the intense stuff. But nobody be making my content go viral when I talk about consent. I don't know why. Is it boring?
I haven't even seen you speak about consent.
And I talk about consent all the time. I've got a whole hoodie, like, you know, that I like to wear as much as possible that says consent is sexy. And I know it makes some people uncomfortable because they see the word consent and they're just like, you know, I'm just like, why does it make you uncomfortable? Because consent is sexy, but it's mandatory above all.
Just to like, if you're comfortable speaking about it, like the boy like doing what the fuck he done.
Yeah.
Like, what type of, because you was young. Like, what type of emotions did you know at that time, like, this is not right?
Of course.
Or did you deeper after, like, what the hell did you just do?
I think it was just, I knew it was wrong, but it was no wrong than other girls who I saw being like touched up when they shouldn't have been touched up. Like it was just the culture back then. Just like it's the culture in clubs when you're in when a guy's walking past you and he puts his hands on your waist. Why are you putting your hands on my waist?
Oh my,
That's disgusting.
you know what's so funny? You know how you're saying it?
Yeah.
It happens all the time. I just think I'm uncomfortable, but it's.
But you just feel
like hey,
but he wouldn't do it to a guy, would he?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to me? And you're only doing it to me because you know I can't beat you up. But I'll step on your shoe.
You're spitting.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like things like that. But you have to teach boys and girls from a young age. You can't just expect them to learn from university. So it's really, really important as to why sex education in school is so vital, because I feel like I think they're even talking about like banning sex education in some part of the UK. But I
feel like it's more important for them to do it now than ever.
It's so important, and that's the thing. I think when people hear sex education, they just think of PIV sex, and it's just like, no, we need to talk about consent. We need to talk about, you know, just understanding the biology. We need to talk about sexuality. We need to educate kids and let them know that it's okay to love who you want to love. and it's okay to be with who you want to be and not to judge other people for who they love.
Yeah.
Those things are very important. Those are life skills. And you're also unlearning, you're helping them unlearn like the stigma around it as well, because there's so many things that people that I grew up with, who I know they're unlearning things when it comes to sexuality. I know they're unlearning things when it comes to consent.
Yeah.
And I know they're unlearning things when it comes to the pleasure of sex as well.
Yeah.
You know, instead of being quiet in the bedroom, they can speak up because they know that they're not 19 anymore and they understand their body a lot more. I keep using 19, I don't know why.
That's it. That's
But
the age.
that's the age.
Do you feel like, obviously, what you do in your line of work, do you feel like it also encourages people not to have sex before they're married? Like, do you touch on that?
Oh,
for example, like...
You should even be asking me, do I believe in sex before marriage? That's
do you believe in sex before marriage?
I definitely do believe in sex before... I do. I do feel like you should have sex before marriage.
Why?
I think that sex is very... Am I a Christian?
Yeah.
Am I practicing?
Yeah.
No, but do I believe in God? Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also culture. I feel like to a lot of people, Christianity is religion, but I feel like as a Nigerian, like Christianity is also my culture. It's what I grew up in. It's all I know. I grew up in the church. I used to be in the choir. I used to go to Sunday school. I used to go to Saturday school. I used to do night vigil.
The whole service.
I did the whole shebang. But that's when I learned. It was funny enough because it was in church where I learned that, some things are a bit weird. And it was like when I remember auntie put on, I don't know if she even had consent from anybody's parents, but she just put on a tape that was like, anti-abortion, and it was about this preacher saying that you shouldn't have an abortion, and if you do get pregnant...
Is this in Sunday school?
This is in Sunday school.
This is not what Sunday school's about.
Bruh, it wasn't Sunday school. It was like we went to like the church office one day, and I remember I think it was one of my first blogs at 18. I was just angry, like, why the fuck are you showing us this?
Yeah.
And this is someone I hadn't even had sex. I wasn't even knowledgeable about sex, but I just knew that this didn't feel right. I just knew that you shouldn't be telling a woman what to do with her body. And if I say that, am I a Christian? Because I know that a lot of Christians will say...
I was just going to say, playing devil's advocate, what she's doing is in line of what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, I'm just like, I'm a Christian, but I don't agree with that. I don't agree that you should be telling women what to do with their bodies. And I will always stand firm in that. So, I just feel like some of my morals and some of like a part of who I am doesn't always align with the scripture. And I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, we're all going to die and God sees my heart at the end of the day. He knows what my mission was. He knows that I'm not here to cause any hurt. He knows I'm here to educate. He knows that I'm here to help. He knows that I want to help women have a voice. And he knows that he made sex and that the message that I'm just trying to share is that we can all enjoy this beautifully if we're just open, honest and communicating and not running away from it like it's something to be ashamed of, But
would you not say it's a bit of a contradiction? Because obviously you said you're not practicing it, but then you're also saying like God and
it's not that I'm not practicing though. Like I feel like I'm not, and I know it's not good to be like a lukewarm Christian, I understand that, but I feel like, again, Christianity is a journey, so I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I might want to wake up tomorrow and say, fuck it. I'm only going to be teaching that sex should be for married women.
Yeah.
And there are people that do that. There's a lot of sex educators. For example, like, Muslims who are sex educators and they only do sex education for women who are married. But that's not the stage I'm at. And I don't think I'll ever be there because it just doesn't really tie in with what I believe.
I feel like for me, I'm abstinent now.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm practicing
my
religion. So, like, do you believe in celibacy?
I do believe in celibacy. I believe that you should do whatever you want with your body.
Right.
I believe that, again, when it comes to sexual education, I feel as though that you can still be educated on sex and still be celibate. And that's the thing. Sexual empowerment doesn't necessarily mean that you should be shagging everybody left, right and center and just lose your brain. It means that you know why you are having sex or know why you don't want to have sex. And there's still power in that. There's beautiful power in celibacy. Being able to say no.
Yeah,
I want your strength. I want your strength.
Yeah.
It'd be hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard, but like I feel
it'd be hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but I feel like with being celibate, abstinent, it's literally feeding yourself with word and just like it has to be something you believe in. It can't just be, I'm just celibate because I want to be celibate. You need to understand why you want to be celibate. Because I feel like when I was saying that before, I didn't really understand why. And now I understand like why. Like obviously you're saying sex is fun and stuff like that. And I feel like it would be nice to experience that with someone you truly love, someone that you know is courting you, is gonna marry you and stuff like that. But I also do agree with the fact that women do deserve to do what they want to do with their body and stuff like that. And when it comes to time, if they want to be celibate, it's up to them and stuff like that.
And I also just believe in compatibility. Right. Because if I'm not, and it also depends on how important sex is to you. Let's just say sex isn't important to you. And when I say sex isn't important, I mean it's like, it's not the biggest thing to tick in what you require in a person. Like you won't mind if the sex is, it's okay, or it has its good days, or you're like, yeah. But to me, I'm just like, sex is kind of high on my list, and I need someone I'm compatible with. I need passion. Everyone's different. Sexuality really is a huge spectrum. Do you know what I mean? It's not just you're doing it or you're not. You know, there's people who are asexual. There's people who are aromantic. There are people who are gay, bisexual. We all have different tastes and flavors. We all see and experience sex differently or see it differently. Yeah. So where do you fall in line
with that?
Exactly. Yeah, how important is sex to you? Because imagine me as a person, I know that I'd be heartbroken if I've waited till my wedding day and the sex is trash. And I've taught you after months of months, and I'm just crying on the phone. Like, I don't know.
You can carry on teaching.
You carry on teaching, but some people can't be taught.
Some people can't get it.
And if they do get it, it's not the getting that's for me. It's not, the compatibility is not for me. Like what I might be into, they might not be into. If I say, oh, I really enjoy like when someone's talking me through it during sex, and you're like, no, I'm really silent, and I'm just like, oh, can you try it? And they're just like, no, it makes me cringe. Am I really getting my needs met? Because I want you to talk to me, because it's what I really, really like. So I feel like, and again, God created sex. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. He really did make a beautiful thing. Like he ate with sex. I'll be real.
No, he ate with sex.
He did. God ate with sex. What the hell?
He did his big one.
He did.
Not his little one.
He knew
what he was doing.
He was doing.
I did that to us. He knew what he was doing.
So, if God is going to eat with sex, how are you going to tell me I should be having hearted sex in this one life that I have? No, it's important to me. I need to do it properly. But again, there's power in celibacy as well. But I feel like, you know, there is sexual therapy. So if you do get married and you do get to that stage and you do feel like, oh, my partner's not pleasing me, don't give up. Go to sexual therapy and try, because it really, really can work. I'm not saying it's like, it's not possible. Anything is possible if you really, really work hard at it.
Do you feel like, because obviously speaking about like people you've been with and sex and stuff like that, do you feel like your line of work has affected your dating life?
I don't know, you know, because I've always, you know what's so crazy? Like since I was, like 19, 20, I've always found myself in a relationship. It may be like, if I'm single, it's probably for a year or two. But like my longest relationship was like my on and off boyfriend of like 8 years.
Wow.
And then after that, I was engaged for a year. I was with him for 3 years. We were engaged for a year. We broke up.
So it wasn't the one you was with for 8 years?
That I got engaged to?
Yeah.
No. I broke up with him. We broke up for like a year. Then I got into a new relationship. We were together for like 3 years. So I've always kind of like been in a relationship. So I don't really feel like it's affected me in a sense. I feel like,
because you've always been in a relationship.
Always been in a relationship.
That, like, why am I not dating?
And it's weird to me. Remember I told you when I was young, all I knew was man.
So, and you was always getting man. So nothing was feeling like
it didn't really feel like, exactly. But I'm trying to think like when I'm single, like I feel like even when I'm single, I'm always talking to
someone. Then it's not affecting you. Maybe it's even encouraging mental busy. It's not affecting your line of work.
Yeah, but there have been times where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so bored. There's nobody on my line. My phone is dry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like talking to, do you know what I mean? I like talking to guys. I like flirting. Like I'm a very flirtatious person. It's fun, you know? It's fun. And I love being desired. We're women at the end of the day. Even if it's not going somewhere, I like being desired. I like knowing that my presence gets your dick hard. You know, do you know what I mean?
Hey!
So, I'm a woman, so do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
You spoke about your relationship, how you was engaged and stuff.
Yeah.
How was that relationship like, and like leading to the marriage? Like, was you confident in going into that, like being engaged and stuff?
Ooh, was I engaged? Was I confident when I was going into it? Was I confident? Absolutely. But then I think I said this on my podcast, which was that when I got engaged, I felt like everything I didn't say this, but it did feel like everything started to like spiral. It felt like as soon as a ring was put on my finger, I kind of felt like I was locked into something because that person felt like, okay, she's not going anywhere. Like, I've got her for
felt
good.
like it was locked. Did you feel trapped?
I felt trapped. Yeah, I felt trapped. Like, I felt like this person felt like, aha, I've got her. Basically felt like a woman who just felt like, okay, this guy basically thinks that I'm not going to go anywhere because...
Is that a bad thing to think, though?
Yes, if you start behaving badly.
Okay.
So if you start behaving badly and you think it's because you've put a ring on my finger and I'm not going to do anything, that's when we've got problems. Because I told you, I've always been a rebel since I was a kid.
So, yeah.
And if you start acting up, don't get it twisted, I'm just like every other woman. It doesn't mean I'm not crying or I'm not throwing up or I'm not sad or I'm not upset. Like, yeah, I feel things, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I know that you only get one life. And I feel like if I didn't leave that situation, I wouldn't be a woman of my word and what I've always like preached and stood for.
Yeah.
And me, like, I don't care what anyone says, like, I try my best to really live my raps. So if I'm telling women to leave or dump their men if they're not in a happy place, why am I not doing the same thing? That'd be very stupid. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to pretend it was easy. I'm not going to pretend I didn't try.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they has to end. No, I'm joking. But
But do you feel like, so what type of behavior, like, obviously you're saying like you felt like, if you feel trapped, then what type of behavior was he showing that
it was just like misbehave and then maybe buy me something to like compensate for it.
Yeah.
And obviously, yes, Nigerian women, we like nice things, but there's only so long you can like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that was just it. There was a lot more. I'm never ever going to go into detail because that's just me.
That's your personal business.
But yeah, exactly. But if we're talking about if we just want to scratch on the surface a little bit, it would just be like, we know what men are like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that for me, it was just a case, but I was just like, if this is the behavior now,
how is it going to be in years to come?
Right.
And I feel like it's so important that you, obviously, it's not, I don't want to say it's so important that you left the marriage, but I feel like it's so important.
No, it is. It's very important.
You stood for what you know is right and know like how you want to be treated. Because I feel like as you get older, you kind of feel like you have to stay in situations because the stress of like getting married, being married, everyone's saying, when are you marrying and stuff like that.
I think, do you know what, growing up, I was never a girl who really dreamt about getting married, even though I liked talking about boys. But my dreams, remember I told you my dreams were scary, but my dreams were more to do with my career. It was never to do with like marrying a guy. It was, I mean, yeah, as you get older, you start thinking of those things naturally. You start thinking about kids, you start thinking about a house where you want to live or what your future plans are in the next 10 years. Very, very natural, but it wasn't something that I really desired. It wasn't like I'm dying to get married. Do I love me like a Ashoke and a Asho Ebi? Yes, I slay in it. I do. But it wasn't the premise for me to want to get married. It was more like, this person makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. And if you start making me feel like I'm on top of the world, I will leave. Yeah. And I left.
Did you guys try to save the marriage?
The engagement. The engagement. Did we try? Yeah, we did, but you can't try with someone you don't want to be with. And I didn't want to be with him anymore, so why would I be trying? Yeah, that was it for me. I was just like, I don't want to be with you.
Was he trying to like, this is...
I think he didn't think I would leave. I think he didn't think I would leave. Especially because women, like, women...
We want to get married.
We want to get married.
We want, there is.
And they know that. And I think that sometimes they're just like, oh, we know that she wants to get married.
So she won't go.
So she's not going to go. But says who?
Yeah.
I march to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. I will go because I'm sorry. Like, if anything starts to make me unhappy or I feel like it's really going to affect me in the long run, I have to start thinking. I don't want it to be a thing whereby in a couple of years they start saying, is that Oloni's man? Isn't that Oloni's man? Look what he's doing. Man, come and stain my white. Hell to the no. After everything I've built for myself, no way.
Do you see yourself getting married in the future? And do you feel like there's any pressure on you to get married as you're getting older?
Would I like to get married in the future? Sure, why not? Like, maybe one day, yeah.
Not sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'm getting married by force.
Not by force. It's not by force.
It is.
It's not by force, though. Why should it be by force, though? It shouldn't be by force. If it happens, then that's nice and that's great. And that's the same attitude I had before. But I only felt more intense with the feelings because I was happy with who I was with. But if the situation does come around again, I want it. But it's not something that I'm thinking, it's do or die. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's do. I don't think it needs to be like that.
I'm speaking from someone that I'm trying to be in my religious bag. So for me, it's like that is one of the fulfillments to have a marriage to provide kids. So for me, it's like
Yeah, you want to have a unit, of course.
It's not by force if it's not for you.
Yeah, if it's not for you, exactly.
Like, it is something that I would
and
like.
if I do find myself in a relationship where I'm happy and, you know, I guess like I'm just a bit more, I feel like now I've got the experience, I'm not in no rush as well, because I feel like once you've been engaged, you just, I don't know, you approach things differently, or you look out for more things, and you learn from your experiences naturally. You learn from your past boyfriends that you've been with, right?
Yeah.
You learn from past friendships. So I am going to learn from my past engagement naturally. So yeah, if it does happen, it happens. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no biggie.
So what's one piece of advice you will give to girls who are scared of leaving a relationship for the sake of getting married?
I would say always pick yourself, because even if you don't, like, the person that you're with, they're going to pick themselves. And, you know, I find that when people are in those sort of situations, they forget that the person that they're with is literally picking themselves. They're not picking you.
They're picking themselves.
They're picking themselves. So why don't you do the same thing? Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know why it's not making you happy at the end of the day.
And you know what it is with men, men always choose themselves.
They do.
When they're not happy, they will leave.
They will leave. When women are sick, like, what are some men doing? Not all of them, but them, please.
But they're doing it.
They're leaving.
They're doing it.
Right.
Even when they're supposed to be active. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like men always pick themselves, and I think women should start doing the same, because at the end of the day, we will find someone that loves us and likes us.
Absolutely. And there are good men out there. There are sweet men out there.
Struggle, but
they're out there. They're out there because, you know, again, I ain't been in relationships with all of them, but a lot of my good male friends, you know, I see their kindness and I see their heart, and I think that's what's important these days. Like, when you're looking for someone, is to find someone with a genuine and kind heart, because there's some awful, mean people walking this earth. So it's just so important to find someone with a good heart, because you got a good heart, like, they're not going to do you wrong. Even if you don't work out, it's going to end amicably. I can't speak English again. Amicably. It's going to end amicably.
Yeah.
You know, there's some situations that they just end and everybody just really hates each other, you know. Like, not all relationships are always going to last forever, and that's fine. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it starts getting to that toxic stage, no. Yeah.
Let's get into our segment. After that perfect piece of advice, I feel like this segment will really show what your type is.
Yes.
So this segment is called Choose Your Style.
Choose Your Style. Choose Your Style is a fast-paced strategy game where participants must make quick choices between two options for various categories.
I'm going to dash names to you.
Yeah.
You're going to rank them in order of how good you think they would be in bed.
Yes. Ooh.
1 to 10.
My type of game.
You can't change your answer. Once you ranked one, you ranked one.
My type of game.
Our first name.
Yes.
Make sure you think. Let me
on a
do
scale of 10.
1 to 10.
1 being piss poor. And
1 being the best. 10 being the worst.
What would never be the best?
This is how TikTok plays it.
Is that how they do
They
it?
play it like this.
Are the kids backwards?
No, we're backwards. This is how we play it. Okay, we've got Dave.
Ooh, Dave. I would put Dave, so 1 is amazing, right?
Yeah.
I would give Dave, because I don't know what else is to come. It's the first one. I don't know, but I feel like, I don't know. I'll give him like a 4. Let's give him a 4.
A 4, okay.
Yeah, let's give him a 4.
Why did you give him a 4?
I don't know. I feel like he's got aura. I've been around Dave before. I say I've been around, like, I've walked past him before, and I feel like...
Been around and walked past.
I did 2 different things. Lord. I was around him. We were in the same...
It's enough to know the aura.
I don't think it was enough. I felt like I was just like, okay, he's got an aura to him, you know?
So it's given.
I'm trying, you know.
Stormzy,
I do not know. I don't want to comment on Stormzy. Do you know that? Because do you know what it is? I'm cool with Mice. I just think that's weird.
Really?
Yeah, I just think that's weird.
I think Stormzy looks like he's a tall black.
He does. He's another person that's got aura.
He's got
But
aura.
Do you know what it is? Can I just say this? I think just when it comes to black men who are just really successful, they naturally have aura. Apart from if you're just corny. Like,
I feel like he's been having aura though. Even when he was doing tracksuit
I didn't know him
videos.
before. I didn't really, I didn't really see it like that. Like, do you know what I mean? But
So
I just
obviously,
feel like,
because marriage offenders, this is a girl's girl.
yeah, I'm just
What
like,
are you
that's
ranking
weird.
him?
But ranking him, well, that's none of my concern.
10.
I don't. Was in piss bad? Is it bad? I don't want to make
No,
him
but
bad.
your ranking makes sense. You're ranking him poor because that's your friend.
Yeah.
So you don't. That's the best thing to do.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
Okay, so Stormy and Sam, not for anything, but because you're friend.
Out of respect.
Out of respect
yes,
for your friend.
out of respect.
Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh.
This is my type of man.
Michael B. Jordan is hot, but do you know what it is? I have a theory that men who are really, really hot in bed probably don't try that much because they just rely.
They're so confident.
Yeah, they're so confident in themselves.
Good point.
But I will give him. Let's give him. I wonder what else is to come. Oh my god, I'll give him a 5. Let's give him a 5 shot.
Michael will be at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, our next person is Skepta.
Skepta definitely has big D energy. We all know that.
We all know.
We all know that. Let's give him a 3.
3. Oh,
Yeah.
that's high.
Yeah, that's high.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Guy made all over the house for a reason.
Fredo.
Oh, Fredo. Fredo has aura as well, you know. Do you know what it is? Fredo gives me the same energy as Rio from Good Girls. I don't know if you guys watch Good Girls.
We've watched that.
You watch it?
Same energy.
You know, he says, "Get in the car, Elizabeth."
Get in the car.
And they remind me of each other. I've never seen Rio and Fredo in the same place.
Very similar.
Yeah, but I don't actually. I just, you know what? Just because I feel like there's more to come and I want to save their spots, so I'm gonna just give him a 6.
6.
Just a 6. Just to, it's not to say that.
But
you
because
know,
of the rest.
yeah, I just want to know what else is to come. So you should have given me the names and then told me to like match them up.
Never.
Gets.
Gets.
Have you seen Gets lately? Ooh, could come and super sell me. I'm joking. I'm joking. Use your powers on me any day. No, I'm joking. But I will give him. Let's give him a 3.
You can't. You put Skepta.
Okay, 2. Let's give him a 2.
Gets his. He did his thing in the secret.
Yeah. Okay, how many more left have we got?
You've got 7, 8, 9 on 1.
Okay.
We have Tion Wayne.
That's literally like my little brother. Oh. No, as in we went to like grew up together.
You grew up together.
Yeah.
So you can't even see.
So please just remove it.
I can't remember.
It's not a 9.
I have to put it. It has to be.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist at 9.
Sure.
You have to. But she's not saying 9. She's saying 9 because if she could go off scale, she could go off scale.
Off scale.
For this game, she has to go to 9.
Literally.
Jack Harlow.
What number is left at the end?
8.
Put it there. Sure, 8. Nothing against. It's just he's not my type. Like he's not my type. I'm sure I'm not his type. Then that's fine.
What's your type?
What's my type? Black men.
Okay, fair enough. We have Harry Pinero.
What number's left?
1 and 7.
Let's give him a 7.
We got Harry at 7, and our last
I'm sure
one
he's higher than that, though. I'm sure he's higher than that.
is Craig Mitch.
I need Craig Mitch. Is it the one that does the shoe?
Yeah.
What's left?
That's
1.
1.
Or more. Sure.
Craig is handsome.
I'm not saying that he's not handsome.
Oh, but your type. Oh, okay. You don't know if he has aura.
I don't know if he has aura.
I think him being at 1 is not. It's not too off.
I saw him at the YouTube Legacy party actually.
I think it's not too. It might not be. He might not be your type.
Yeah,
but him being 1 is
not. He's a good-looking guy.
He is very
mixed
good.
race, tall guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's tall. We can add that to the list.
Okay, cool.
This is.
Can I rejig it now?
No, there's no way you can rejig it.
What? If I was to rejig it, guys, who would I put at the top? It would be Skepta at the top.
I think mine gets.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gets. My bad. Gets and Skepta would be higher.
Gets.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Oloni, for coming. You were such a lovely guest. I've learned so much from you, and I hope you guys also learn from her. Go check out her stuff. Yeah. Anything to do with sex, you know.
Yes,
Oloni's not even just sex, consent.
Yeah,
big thing.
Consent is sex as well.
Consent is sex. Exactly. So if you like this episode, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.